Hey there, comic book friends and fiends. It's Rob here in front of the great wall of comics. It's Thursday, and it's time for another episode of Only My Slabs. All right, so we're back with another stack of slabs. We're going through my boxes and boxes and boxes of slabbed comic books and showing you guys what's deep inside my collection. We're going into, I think this is this is the fifth episode, so we're in box 3, I believe, right now. Anyways, mostly chronological order of when I collected them, but not entirely because things come out, new things go in to fill those spaces, but they are in alphabetical order within the boxes individually. So today we're going from S and beyond within this box. So let's just kick it off. This first book, Peach Momoko, super hot for a while before she got climbed on to Marvel. Still is a hot artist, although also a divisive artist. Some are divisive artists. Some people really big on Peach Momoko, some people not. She was definitely during pandemic, post-pandemic time, very overused at times, unfortunately, which I think is what really kind of was some of the pushback on her. But I did like some of her art. This one here, this is Star Wars Adventures #1. Of course, she's originally a horror artist, so taking some of these things where she's able to take a little bit of horror element and sneak it into like Darth Vader, that cracked open helmet with Anakin popping, his face popping out there, scarred face going through. It's available. This I got graded in 9.8. I'd sent the book in myself. This was a Scorpion Comics exclusive. Nothing on the back. Nice grade, but bam. Little Peach Momoko action there. Wow. Here's another. This is going to be another Peach Momoko. This one, Frankie's Comics, man, before they went out of business. Remember the Virgin variant. This is Star Wars Adventures #32 featuring Rey. I thought this was gorgeous. This was great. Again, a 9.8. Look at that. I think it's a good looking book. Virgin covered last issue. So this is issue 32, the last book in the run. Back into some more sci-fi. This is from 1969. Again, we're using this custom label. Last episode I talked about this custom label. This is Strange Adventures. This is issue 217. So Strange Adventures, as a title in itself, covered a variety of different topics. So by the time we got into this range here, they were doing some reprints of Mystery in Space. So these next couple Strange Adventure books, these are actually reprinted stories from Mystery in Space, featuring Adam Strange here. But this was this sci-fi, this Ringling College Art and Design Studio. They had a couple. They every once in a while have a custom label that was created for CGC that becomes available. It's only available for a short time, so it's not DC specific. You could put it on any book that you wanted to put a custom label on, and I just loved it on these sci-fi books. Normally, not a fan of the custom labels. Sometimes they look nice, but I'm not a guy who's going to spend an extra $5 during the grading process for it, because you're talking about as a percentage of the overall grading, it's about a 20 to 25% increase in the cost of grading having that book encapsulated just to get that custom label that doesn't add any value to the book itself. The book is what it is. Anyways, I dug this Adam Strange blasting off from Earth, destination Ron, 25 trillion miles away. So that's a great book. This one also, there's so much about this cover I love. I am when it comes to retro sci-fi, the bubble helmet, ray guns, rocket ships, space monsters. Those things excite me, and this cover's got most of that right on here. We've got both of our protagonists wearing bubble helmets. We've got ray guns. We've got the beast from a runaway world. Just awesome, awesome cover. What can you not say about these? These are all books I purchased raw, and I had them all encapsulated myself. I've had a chance to read the stories. I've got other copies. Mystery and Space Run, the original run went on. It's just, I felt that I picked these up someplace. And I thought that they were pretty good condition, and I thought, why not? Let's get them encapsulated. Now, in hindsight, nowadays, I'm thinking about it, and I wonder, it's not a value thing necessarily, because these are reprints of the stories. This is maybe, again, in 80 years, we're going to talk about value. I encapsulate books for multiple reasons. Sometimes it's value, sometimes it's preservation, sometimes it's the art. I just love the art. I want to preserve that art, and be able to pull them out and take a look at them like this. And this is exactly what this is. This is an art, this sci-fi, this retro sci-fi. Oh, I just love it. I don't know. It speaks to me. Other sci-fi, modern sci-fi, Star Wars. How about Darth Maul? Issue number 1. Great cover here. Now this one I kind of wish. Now I have a Darth Maul book signed by Ray Park. If I were to get another one signed, this might be a candidate correct, because a Ray Park signature right here would be really kind of cool. But it's a great Darth Maul cover, movie-esque. From 2017. So it's not, this is a Rod Reese cover. He did a great job. Holy cow. Rod Reese did a lot of really cool covers, and I definitely dig this one. Good job. All right, how about a key comic? This one probably needs to get cracked out from PGX eventually and sent over to CGC. Why? I don't know. We should figure that out. Why do I feel this need now? For the longest time, I was a defender of PGX, and I don't have anything negative to say against PGX. I mean, I can tell you that I had over 300 books encapsulated with PGX comics, and of those, I did have a higher rate of rework than I did with CGC or CBCS. And what I mean by that, I mean, those are books that would come back to me and had issues. The books were in there crooked. There were problems with the slabs, damage, whatever. And I needed to send the books back. And I think at one point I calculated the percentage of books that had issues was somewhere in the around 15% or so. And that's a pretty high number. But once they were encapsulated, I didn't really have any issues with them. But for some reason, I guess I've succumbed to peer pressure of the community just not, embracing PGX as a legitimate, even though they are a legitimate grader. And I've tried to sell a few, I guess, and I think maybe that's where it really is. I've taken the decision to move on from some books, and I've gone either to sell them or put them in mystery boxes and stuff, and people just don't like them. I mean, it's literally, I can crack the book open raw and sell it for more than I can as a graded book, many times. But anyways, it's just a grading company, guys. Move on. There's nothing wrong with it. But here it is. PGX 9.6, Kanan, The Last Padawan, issue number 6. This is the the key's not on here. But issue 6, this is I believe, as I recall, this is the first full appearance of our team, the Rebels team. Issue 1 is the cameo appearance of them, and then issue 6 is the full appearance, I believe, is what it was. Description here. I'm like saying this and guessing, and it's like forgetting that I'm putting that description there. But anyways, I loved this back cover here for this setup here. Is Luke and the Wampa. But yeah, Star Wars Rebels Star Wars Kanan, rather. Good dang. All right. Oh, this book. This is hilarious to me. This book I acquired, and the reason it is encapsulated was at the time. Uh, it's 100%. It's the team working on the book. I thought in my early days that some of these team ups were rarer than they really are. And so when I got a book and I saw the team working on it, I went, oh, we need to encapsulate that because I want to preserve it because I'm probably not going to have another book like it. And this one is a book it doesn't have high value. It's not really all that uncommon to find the team, but this is a Stan Lee story. Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and Joe Sinat art with a Mary Severin cover. So the idea to me that Kirby, Ditko, and Stan all worked together on the book was like, oh my God, that's insane. But it did happen several times, especially in the Strange Tales run. But this is Strange Tales 139? Yeah, 139 from 1969. Almost everybody reads Shield. And there's a lot of look. You don't have this anymore. Look at all this dialogue. It's like a full panel on the book here. I don't know how, how I got here, but no matter how cold it gets, no matter what they do to me, I'll never tell Hydra about Brainosaur. So long as Tony Stark has the secrets, there's still a chance of smashing their bomb. And S.H.I.E.L.D. ain't gonna lose that chance just on account of one Joe like me. The dialogue, crazy. But yeah, that much wall of text there on the book. I mean, they don't do that's just something you don't get anymore. I mean, when was the last time you saw a word bubble on a cover? It's been a while. Swamp Thing issue number 5. Now, this is a key. Swamp Thing discovers his regeneration abilities. Yeah, Swamp Thing discovers the ability to regenerate his body parts. So we get a new ability for Swamp Thing. I'm not a Swamp Thing collector, but this book is special to me because I got this from Doc, Parm, aka Man Cave 1 on Instagram. He had been a reoccurring guest. Let me just be honest. On Only Slabs, my show, Saturdays, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, where I have collectors come on and we talk about the books in their collection. In the early days of the show, I relied heavily on Doc. I got connected to him. He had a huge collection of slabs. We had him on as a recurring guest every 4 weeks for a period of time. And he was showing bangers after bangers and bangers. And Doc was instrumental in helping us to draw attention to the show and get more eyeballs on it and grow that show. Well, he would come on periodically when I would do my giveaway. He would, at the end of the show, do slab giveaways or whatnot. At one point, he gifted me this slab here from a random pull from a box of slabs he was giving away. Very generous, man. Thank you so much, Doc. I love this book. It's still in my PC and it's not going anywhere. You guys watching any of my haul videos right now, you know I'm a Transformers guy now. But I was never historically a Transformers guy. But I was a child of the 70s and 80s. So Transformers #1, bango, it's in my box. Absolutely 9.4 white pages, that Sienkiewicz cover, first printing. I had to have this when I started collecting books. I knew this had to be a key from my childhood that goes in here. The origin and first comic book appearance of the Autobots and Decepticons. And that's what it is, right? I think it's very easy when you start collecting comics, especially when you start collecting things outside of the normal superheroes. You collect these licensed property books. You go for what was the nostalgia for you as a kid. And for me, Transformers was one of those nostalgias as a kid. And nostalgia, as we like to say, is an expensive beast. Recent pickup, actually, but a book that I was I do like some of the Iron Man, some of those various different things. I had picked up recently the first appearance of Iron Man wearing the War Machine outfit, and then I decided I needed to get War Machine #1 here. This is a book I just remember in all its glory in the 90s. This is 1994. I was going to an LCS and picking up books, and it was the age of embossed covers and foil covers and hologram covers galore. And War Machine, #1 here, the embossed foil variant, just was one of those books, much like Shadowhawk from Image, stuff that are in my head, that I remember those books on that cover, on that rack, and happy to grab this up. This is first War Machine in his own title. Jim Rhodes, The Armor and the Attitude, because that's what we had to do with all our covers, our characters, was give them attitude. Web of Spider-Man is a run that has very few keys. It is that that Spider-Man title, right? You had the Amazing Spider-Man, then Spectacular Spider-Man, very solid. But then when you think of the Spider-Man, but people will think of, if you rank the Spider-Man titles from the 90s and stuff, it's people go, okay, it's Amazing Spider-Man, then it's probably Spectacular Spider-Man, then you go, Spider-Man, the McFarlane stuff, and then Web of Spider-Man was always that last, the bottom tier book. It had a fairly good run, but only a few keys. This is one of those keys, and that is the first issue with that amazing cover, that amazing painted cover there. Issue #1, Web of Spider-Man, in a 9.8 white pager, banger janger. And of course, I had to add on the back for the Star Comics, which actually was funny, is most of these, if you could pick up some of these books, some of them are much more valuable than anything than this book. But this book still has some value. This is the first appearance of the Vulturians. But dang, that Web of Spider-Man, beautiful book. Love it. Next up, another Web of Spider-Man, another key. Believe it or not, this is a key. You wouldn't even recognize it, but this is the first appearance of Tombstone. Tombstone, I love as a character. He, of course, made a big run. I think he was synonymous almost with Spectacular Spider-Man and Web of Spider-Man, those two. That's where he made most of his appearances. Were in those. He barely ever showed up in Amazing Spider-Man, but I like him as a villain. I think he's a great B tier villain. And Tombstone right here, first appearance in Web of Spider-Man 36 from 1988. Wow, Keith Williams did the cover and art on this. Maybe I need to take this with me to Heroes Con. Actually, I got other copies. Maybe I got to have Keith Williams sign a copy of this. I know he's going to be at Heroes Con. I already have a Keith Williams signed book. It's actually Ravage 2991. We'll get to that down the road. Okay, last book for today's episode of Only My Slabs, another Web of Spider-Man. This is a super recent pickup. This is Web of Spider-Man 118. This is our first appearance of the Scarlet Spider. So first adversary, Venom. Yeah, so we got Web of Spider-Man 118, first solo clone story, Venom appearance. Marvel subscription insert included, it says. So, and a dynamic new costume. Scarlet Spider. I know this costume spoke to me back in the day, and despite the fact that I have a general disdain for the Spider clones, I do have a special piece of my heart for Ben Reilly and the Scarlet Spider, mostly because I remember this part of the run. I thought it was cool. He had it was edgy, as far as a costume went, and he had these new, moving the web shooters to the outside, and he had impact webbing and different stuff. It was really cool. Anyways, leave your comment down below. Let me know what of those books did you think was your favorite. What books would you like to add to your PC? But most importantly, remember, you should collect what you want and not listen to anybody, including me. I'm just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching.